Welcome back to Freshly Charged, where we have the perfect solution for people who want to spend more time swimming instead of maintaining their pools. Introducing the Beatbot AquaSense 2, the world's first 3-in-1 pool cleaner with water surface sparkling.
Whoa, that's crazy.
This robot can clean floors, climb walls, and scrub the water line. But that's enough talking, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. Quick start guide. Whoa, that's big. It's just showing exactly what we need to install on here. Install the bracket properly, connect the power supply, place robot on the charge dock, and get it charging. Pretty straightforward. Pretty big instruction manual. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a quick start guide and read more up on it as it's charging. Here's the star of the show. Not too heavy. I think it's like 23 pounds is what I remember. So easily can be picked up with one hand. Well, let's go ahead and check out what the robot looks like. Oh, nice. So very sleek design. It's got these rubber scrubbers on here, which seem like they'll do a decent job, but we'll test it out to really see how that goes. And what the website says is there's an IMR coating on here, which makes it actually UV resistant, so it shouldn't fade really over time. So this is the robot part, and let's grab the base out. It's a wireless charging base. We'll get this thing set up, and the robot should just be able to drop right into it once we're plugged in. So that's pretty easy. Has the two charging areas that connect to this. So very simple, just put the two legs on and it should just be able to drop right in. Oh, easy enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a good power source for the AquaSense 2 and get it charged up and ready to go. Now it's charging. I need to get the network set up. So gotta hit down both of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, flash in blue. Now I've seen it. Connect. Here it says 3 minutes to add the device. Let's see how long it's going to take.
2 seconds later.
I think it might be ready. There it goes. Okay, update successful. Weather's good. Let's look at the different modes. So you can do standard mode with the walls, floors ×2, and wall and waterline ×2. So you can change the different modes depending on what you want to do. Right now, because the pool hasn't been cleaned for a while, let's go ahead and do the area mode ×2. Let's go ahead and test this thing out. It's not fully charged, but we'll test it out on its maiden voyage and then get it charging up overnight and then fully test it out tomorrow when it's freshly charged. So it says to start out with it on flat level and then go ahead and let it get calibrated a little bit. It's on. So it's really hard to tell how dirty this pool is simply because of the design and the walls. It's a fiberglass pool with this kind of sparkle on there. It's really beautiful, but if you can see there's a lot of dirt on the edges. There's not very many leaves because we're in a newly developed neighborhood, so there's not a lot of trees. This pool does have a cover, but still dirt gets in it, and we're gonna really test out how quickly this can clean it up and make it sparkling clean. So it's on here now. So sitting on the ground, it does need to calibrate a little bit on flat levels, and then you can just toss it in the pool. So let's go ahead and throw it in there. See what happens. And it should sink. Oh, but it's taking in water. Do you see that? At first it's floating because it's buoyant. There's actually air in the chamber, but right now it's actually taking in water. That's what you saw it starting to do, was sucking in that water, and it should sink in about 3 to 5 minutes. We just got it out of the water. It was at 40% when we first started. It's been running for the past couple hours, and sure enough, it just came floating up to the top. It was really cool looking. I did not know what to expect at first. I knew that it was gonna come to the edges and start floating, but it was just shooting out water, and I knew it was time to pick it up and get it charged. The light was red, and for 40% battery and just throwing it in the water for the first time, it's done pretty well. I was very surprised at how clean the pool looks compared to how it did before, and this is what it picked up on its first job. We're gonna get this freshly charged, take this out tomorrow, do a full run cycle, and see how it looks. So stay tuned. It's windy out here right now, so you're gonna have to deal with a little bit of wind. I'm gonna now try the wall functionality, and it goes above the water line twice and a couple inches higher, so it should scrub the water line, and let's see how it goes. So as you can see, it starts filling up water from that little vent on the top. Basically, when you throw it in there, it's floating and it sucks in water. And when the battery gets low, it pushes out the water, increases the air in it and the buoyancy, and then raises it out of the water towards the edge so you can easily pick it up. And since it only weighs 23 pounds, it's very easy to lift out of the pool. Let's go ahead and test out the wall function with the full battery. Okay, here it comes up. Crazy. As it's doing the walls, it follows an N pattern to make it more efficient. So it goes kind of up like this, down, up, and then when it does the floors, it does like an S pattern. One thing I was really worried about was I didn't calibrate this, so I should have actually set it on the ground for a few seconds to calibrate, but surprisingly enough, it's climbing the walls and had no problems at all. So you definitely want to calibrate it before you throw it in, but I was actually worried that I was gonna have to pull it out, recalibrate it, and throw it in, but it's already going to work on the walls. One thing I was very worried about this pool is there's this ledge that lines both sides. It's made for safety purposes. In case someone's drowning, they can just come to the edge and kind of lift themselves up if they're on the deeper side. Surprisingly, this machine was able to climb over that ledge with no problems at all. Oh yeah, see, hits that wall, goes once, and then goes twice. And this pool hasn't been cleaned for a full month, so it's a little bit extra dirty on the walls. I'm gonna really test out to see if this can really do a good job of cleaning the walls, but so far, very impressed with what it's able to do, coming up and double scrubbing that water line. I set it to only do the water lines once, but since this hasn't been cleaned for a month, I'm probably gonna adjust the settings to do it twice, but really astonished with how well it's doing, especially with that ledge on the pool. And then we're gonna come back and show what it looks like afterwards. And then look at that, you see that thing? It says ultrasonic AI, and then on top of it, there's 16 sensors and an ultrasonic sensor. So very, very robust for a robot to have that many sensors. Pretty astonishing to me because this is a great solution. Those people who really wanna enjoy their pools on the weekends, you don't wanna sit there cleaning the pools. You also don't want that machine that's got that big hose around there that you gotta worry about while swimming. This thing is nice and compact. It's not gonna disturb you. You can go ahead and swim around it. You don't have to worry about getting tied up in that mess of that hose line that runs through the whole pools with a lot of the pool robots. So it is having issues right here. This one area is having a little bit of issues because there's a jet protruding from the wall, and that's expected. So the robot can't really stick itself to the wall because of that jet. So it's having a little bit of troubles coming above that, but I think it's just gonna move on. So you do have a little bit of stuff that you're gonna need to do, a little bit of extra scrubbing, but for the most part, this should do 99% of the job for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the before and after job. But compared to that, to this, so I was really worried that it wasn't able to get over those pumps, but it does get over the pumps. It can get a little bit disoriented sometimes around those pumps. I've seen it get snagged on 1 out of the 6 pumps here, but for the most part, it's been perfectly fine and gets right over it. Very cool that the smart AI can actually learn that and climb over those obstacles that are in its way. And really, I'd say one of my favorite things about this robot right now is that I don't really have to do much. I just throw it in and just leave it alone. I'm of course watching it right now because I want to observe how well it does, but for the most part, you can just throw it in, come back a few hours later when it floats to the top and pull it right out. On top of the AquaSense 2 coming up to the edge when it's on low battery, there's also a parking feature that you can use in the app to bring it up to the edge if you're done with the cleaning and want to have your family enjoying pool time without a robot in the water. So my friend put in this beautiful fiberglass pull-in about a year ago, and the AquaSense 2 can actually work on fiberglass, it can work on concrete, tile, and even vinyl pools, so it can work on all sorts of different textures. And I think that's really due to the way it actually operates. It uses suction power and it uses these soft rubber bristles, so it's not going to damage any type of surface, and it can climb every single type of pool out there. So the AquaSense 2 has been in the pool for 3 hours now. It should have an additional 1 hour runtime. It says a total of 4 hour runtime, and should only take about 4 hours to charge from empty to full. So pretty impressive that it comes with a 10,000 milliamp battery and can run for so long. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with it, and I'm gonna go over what I love about this design. First off, it's really simple. Literally just pull it out of the box, just download the app, throw it in the water, and you're good to go. Pretty much just throw it in and forget about it. The AquaSense 2 is really perfect for people who have a cover for their pool. This is a great example for it because you're not gonna get a lot of stuff on the surface, but this will clean the floors, it'll clean the walls, and also the water line twice. But if you do have an uncovered pool and you live in an area with a lot of leaves, a lot of debris that gets on the top of the pool, you may wanna look at the AquaSense 2 Pro or the Ultra, because that will actually skim the water. One thing that sets the AquaSense 2 apart from its competitors is that it doesn't need any type of cords, it doesn't need any type of like pump to be hooked up to. You literally just wirelessly charge it, and then everything else, it does it by itself. I'm also very impressed with the battery capacity and what it's able to do. 10,000 milliamps is 1,000 watt hours. This thing's been running for over 3.5 hours and it's still going. Very impressed that the estimated runtime is actually true. It's nice that they provide you with the hook in case it's malfunctioning or you need to fish it out of the water. The best part is I haven't had to use this hook at all. It just comes right up to the edge, spits out all of its water, and makes it easy to retrieve, and only weighs 23 pounds. You can use the park mode to bring it to the edge, or if it's finished its cycle or below 15% battery, it'll come right to the edge, spits out the water and makes it very easy to retrieve from the pool. Overall, the build quality is pretty epic. It has a really nice IMR coating, so it helps protect it from the sun. This machine should do well with the sun beating down on it. And one of the best things about this thing is having a 3-year warranty. The fact that I don't have to fix it, I don't actually have to wait for parts and do it myself, the fact that I don't have to send it in to get fixed, they'll just send me a brand new unit and then I send this one back. Really, really convenient for those who don't want to waste time with customer service agents. This machine is not perfect, okay? I'd say the biggest downfall is a pull just like this. This is probably one of the most challenging pulls that the AquaSense 2 will encounter. The reason being is there's a lot of seats in here, there's stairs, there's those ledges around the edge. That does make it a little bit challenging. I have had to assist it just a little bit. So for this type of pull, it's been able to do about a 95% job. So if I was testing this on a flat angled pull without those ledges, this thing would be perfectly fine. The other thing is that it does lose its wireless signal sometimes underneath water. So sometimes you can't get it into park mode when it's on the floor, but that's just how things are when things go underneath water. It's the same thing with a lot of the cameras that we use that have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Water is just not cohesive for transmitting wireless technology. And then one other problem I have is right behind me. You can see that water line isn't perfectly clean, and that's because there's a pump right underneath it. It was able to navigate around it and get around the pump, but right directly above the pump, it was having some issues cleaning that water line. So that does have a little bit of calcium buildup from the salt, but overall it's done a great job on 95% of the pull. And the other downside to the AquaSense 2 is it doesn't skim the water. You are going to have to use a net to fish out like leaves or stuff that's floating on the top with the AquaSense 2. However, if you want something that can do it all, you may want to look at the Pro and the Ultra. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but then you pretty much don't have to do anything with your pool. And it really leads us to the next question: who is the AquaSense 2 for? If you're the person who's cleaning your pools for a couple hours on the weekends, couple hours during the week, and you want that time back, the AquaSense 2 is a perfect addition to the family. The other person who would really enjoy this is someone who just loves robotics. It's really fun to watch this machine work because it's so smart and very impressive that you don't actually have to monitor it at all. You can literally just sit back and relax and enjoy your pool time. And then the third person I think this is perfect for is someone who likes an immaculate pool. If you're ready to upgrade your pool cleaning experience, check the link in the description below. You can save some money right now. They're running some great sales. We'll have a full review at freshlycharged.com, and thanks for tuning in.